The first time the FBI knocked on our door, I thought they had the wrong house. By the third visit, I knew my entire life was a lie. I found out my husband was in the mafia the night I opened a freezer in our basement that I didn't know we had. There was no body inside, just money, stacks and stacks of $100 bills, vacuum sealed in plastic, stacked like bricks. And underneath all that cash, a gun I'd never seen before. I stood there in my pajamas, holding a bag of frozen peas I'd gone downstairs to find. And I couldn't breathe, because in that moment, every single thing about my life stopped making sense. My name is Catherine. I'm 42 years old. I have 2 daughters. I live in a nice house in New Jersey with good schools and a yard where we have barbecues in the summer. I thought I knew my husband. I thought I knew everything. I was wrong. Let me go back. Let me tell you how normal everything was. How completely, perfectly normal. I met David when I was 26. He was charming, handsome, drove a nice car. He worked in waste management. That's what he told me. That's what he told everyone. His family owned a few sanitation companies in North Jersey. Garbage trucks, recycling, that kind of thing. It wasn't glamorous, but it was good money. Honest work, I thought. We got married 2 years later. Small wedding, mostly his family. His father was there, this big man with white hair and a booming laugh. Everyone called him Uncle Tony, even people who weren't related to him. His mother cried through the whole ceremony. David's brothers were there, his cousins, so many cousins I couldn't keep track. They were loud, affectionate, always hugging, always eating. It felt warm. It felt like family. I grew up with just me and my mom. My dad left when I was 3. So this big Italian family, all this noise and love and Sunday dinners, it felt like something I'd been missing my whole life. David was a good husband. He came home for dinner almost every night. He never raised his voice. He was patient with the girls, taught them to ride bikes, helped with homework. He kissed me goodbye every morning. He called me beautiful even after I gained weight with the second baby. We had money, not crazy money, but comfortable. Nice vacations, new cars every few years. The girls went to private school. I didn't work. David insisted I didn't have to. He wanted me home with the kids. You take care of our family, he'd say. That's the most important job. I believed him. I thought I was lucky. The first crack appeared 3 years ago. Small thing, barely noticeable. David got a new phone. He said his old one was acting up, so he got a replacement. Fine, normal, except he got 2 phones. He kept one in his pocket all the time, and another one, a cheap flip phone, in his car. I asked him about it once. It's for work, he said. The guys call me on that one. I don't want work stuff mixing with personal stuff. Made sense. I let it go, but then the late night calls started. 2, 3 in the morning, that flip phone would ring. David would get up, leave the bedroom, go downstairs. I'd hear his voice, low and tense, but I couldn't make out the words. He'd come back to bed 20 minutes later, sometimes an hour later, and when I'd ask if everything was okay, he'd kiss my forehead and say, "Just work stuff, babe. Go back to sleep." One time I asked what kind of work emergency happens at 3 in the morning with garbage trucks. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he smiled. "Union stuff," he said. "Guys get into disputes. I gotta smooth things over. You know how it is." I didn't know how it was. But I nodded. I trusted him. Then there were the envelopes. Men would come to our house. Always during the day when David was home, never at night. They'd shake his hand, sit in his office for 10 minutes, then leave. I'd see them on their way out, always carrying a manila envelope. Always the same type. "What's in the envelopes?" I asked David once. "Payroll stuff," he said. "Cash bonuses for the guys. Easier than checks sometimes." "Seems like a lot of cash bonuses," I said. He smiled, put his arm around me. "Business is good, Cat. That's a problem you want to have." I wanted to believe him. So I did, but things kept piling up. Little things, strange things. David never let me answer the house phone. If it rang and he was home, He'd grab it before I could get to it. He had specific friends he'd talk about, but I never met most of them. When I'd suggest having people over for dinner, he'd change the subject. He paid for everything in cash. Everything. Groceries, gas, the girls' school tuition. I thought maybe it was a tax thing. Rich people do that, right? Keep things off the books? One afternoon, I was cleaning out David's car. He'd asked me to take it to get washed. I found a notebook in the glove compartment. I opened it, pages and pages of names. Numbers next to each name. Thousands of dollars, tens of thousands. I didn't recognize any of the names. I brought the notebook inside. Showed it to David that night. "What is this?" I asked. He barely glanced at it. "Accounts receivable," he said. "People who owe the company money. This much money? Commercial contracts, cat. Big numbers. Don't worry about it." "I'm not worried," I said. "I'm just curious." He took the notebook from my hands. Gently. "You don't need to be curious about work stuff," he said. "That's my job. Your job is here, with the girls, okay?" There was something in his voice. Not angry, not threatening, but firm, final. I nodded. I didn't bring it up again. But I started noticing more. The way David's brothers talked. Always in Italian when they thought I wasn't listening. The way they'd stop talking when I walked into a room. The way David's father would pat him on the shoulder and say things like, "You're doing good, kid. Your grandfather would be proud." I asked David once what his grandfather did for a living. "Import-export," David said. "What did he import and export?" David shrugged. "Olive oil, I think. Italian stuff. I don't know, he died before I was born. But I saw a picture of his grandfather once, at his mother's house. Old black and white photo. The man standing next to a long black car, wearing a suit and a fedora, looking straight at the camera with eyes that didn't smile. David's mother saw me looking at it. "That's Giovanni," she said quietly. "He was a hard man. Did what he had to do." "What did he have to do?" I asked. She didn't answer, just crossed herself and walked away. Then came the night with the freezer. It was late January, cold. I was making soup for dinner and realized I was out of frozen peas. I knew we had a bag somewhere. I checked the kitchen freezer. Nothing. Then I remembered David had bought a chest freezer for the basement last year. He said it was for bulk shopping, for storing meat. I'd never actually opened it. I went downstairs. The basement was finished, carpeted, set up like a rec room. TV, pool table, bar in the corner. David's office was down there too, behind a locked door I never went into. The freezer was against the back wall, humming quietly. I opened it. At first, I thought I was seeing things. The light was dim. I reached for my phone, turned on the flashlight. Money. So much money. Bundled, wrapped in plastic, stacked neatly. I stood there, frozen, my brain trying to make sense of it. I reached in, pulled out one of the stacks. The plastic was cold, slick. I could see the bills through it. Hundreds. All hundreds. My hands were shaking. I moved some of the stacks aside. There was more underneath, and beneath the bottom layer, something wrapped in cloth. I pulled it out. A gun. Black, heavy, cold. I'd never held a gun before. I dropped it. It clattered against the concrete floor. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I'd pass out. I closed the freezer, backed away, went upstairs. David wasn't home. He was at a meeting. That's what he'd said. A meeting. I sat at the kitchen table, stared at the wall. The girls were at my mother's for the night. I was alone. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to think. When David came home an hour later, I was still sitting there. "Hey babe," he said, kissing the top of my head. "You okay?" I looked up at him. This man I'd been married to for 14 years. This man I'd loved, trusted, built a life with. "I found the freezer," I said. He went very still. His face didn't change, but something in his eyes shifted. "What freezer?" he said quietly. "In the basement. The one with the money. And the gun." He pulled out a chair, sat down across from me, put his hands on the table, palms down. "Okay," he said. That was all. Just okay. "David," I said. My voice was shaking. "What is that?" Why do we have that much cash in our house? Why is there a gun? He was quiet for a long time. I watched him thinking, calculating. It's not what you think, he said finally. What do I think? I don't know, Kat. What do you think? I think something's wrong. I think you've been lying to me. He sighed, rubbed his face. I haven't been lying. Then what is it? It's complicated. Uncomplicate it. He looked at me, really looked at me, and for the first time in our marriage, I saw something in his face I'd never seen before. Fear. I can't, he said. You can't? I can't tell you. It's safer if you don't know. My stomach dropped. Safer? Kat, listen to me. He reached across the table, tried to take my hands. I pulled them back. I love you. I love our girls. Everything I do is for this family. That's not an answer. It's the only answer I can give you. I stood up. That's not good enough. It has to be. No, I said. It doesn't. You don't get to keep secrets like that. Not in our house. Not with our family. He stood too, taller than me, broader. But I wasn't afraid of him. I was afraid of what I didn't know. Kat, please, he said. Trust me, like you've always trusted me. I trusted you when I thought you worked with garbage trucks, I said. I don't know what you do anymore. He closed his eyes. I do work with garbage trucks. And what else? Silence. David, what else? He opened his eyes, looked at me with something like sadness. I can't tell you, he whispered. I started crying. I couldn't help it. Are you in trouble? No. Are we in danger? No. I would never let anything happen to you or the girls. Never. Then tell me what's going on. I can't. I wiped my eyes. Then I'm taking the girls and leaving. His face changed, hardened. No, you're not. You can't stop me, Kat. His voice was low, serious. Don't do this. Don't make me. He stopped. Make you what? He turned away, pressed his palms against the counter. Just don't leave, please. I'm begging you. I'd never heard him beg for anything. I need time, I said. I need to think. Okay, he said. Okay, think. But don't leave. Stay here, where I can keep you safe. Safe from what? He didn't answer. That night, I slept in the guest room. David didn't try to stop me. I didn't sleep. I lay there, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing. I thought about the money, the gun, the late-night phone calls, the men with the envelopes, David's family, all those cousins and uncles with their gold chains and their pinky rings and their Italian conversations I couldn't understand. I thought about things I'd heard over the years, jokes that didn't feel like jokes. Someone at a family party once said, "You don't say no to the family." Everyone laughed. I laughed too, not really getting it. David's brother once told me, David takes care of problems. That's what he does. He's good at it. What kind of problems? I thought about the time, maybe 5 years ago, when a guy cut David off in traffic. Bad, almost ran us off the road. David got his license plate number. 3 days later, I heard David on the phone, talking to someone. He gave them the plate number. Said, just scare him. Nothing serious. I asked him about it later. He said he reported it to the police. But he didn't. I knew he didn't. The next morning, David was already gone when I woke up. There was a note on the kitchen counter. Had to go to work early. Love you. We'll talk tonight. I called my mother, asked if she could keep the girls another day. She said yes. Then I did something I'd never done before. I went into David's office. The door was locked, but I knew where he kept the key. Top shelf in the hallway closet, inside an old shoebox. My hands shook as I unlocked the door. The office was neat. Desk, computer, filing cabinets. Pictures of me and the girls on the wall. Nothing seemed out of place. I started with the desk drawers. Papers, invoices, business cards. Everything looked legitimate. Sanitation contracts, employee records, payroll sheets. Then I tried the filing cabinets. Locked. I searched the desk for keys. Found them taped under the bottom drawer. I opened the first cabinet. More files. More paperwork. I flipped through them quickly. My heart was pounding. Then I found a folder marked Accounts. Inside were ledgers. Handwritten. Pages and pages of names, dates, amounts. Huge amounts. But these weren't sanitation accounts. The notes next to the numbers were different. Loan repayment, interest, protection, monthly, VIG collected. My blood ran cold. I kept reading. Johnny C. late again. Send reminder. Mikey's Pizza. Paid in full. On time. Construction. Union issue. Handled. I sat down in David's chair. Put my head in my hands. This wasn't waste management. This was something else. Something I'd seen in movies but never believed was real. I heard a sound. The front door opening. I froze. Cat? David's voice. He was home. I shoved the folder back in the cabinet. Locked it. Put the keys back. Ran out of the office. Locked the door. Was halfway up the basement stairs when David appeared at the top. "What are you doing down there?" he asked. "I was looking for something," I said. "For the girls. A toy." He studied my face. I tried to keep it neutral. "You okay?" he said. "Fine." He didn't believe me. I could tell. We stood there, me on the stairs, him at the top, and something passed between us. Some understanding, some acknowledgement that we both knew I knew. "We need to talk," he said. "I know." We sat in the living room. He poured himself a scotch. Offered me one. I shook my head. "Okay," he said. "What do you want to know?" "Everything." He laughed. It wasn't a happy sound. "I can't tell you everything." "Why not?" "Because once you know, you can't unknow. And that makes you part of it." "I don't want you to be part of it." "I think I'm already part of it," I said. "I'm your wife. I live in this house. I spend your money." He flinched. "It's not like that." "Then what is it like?" He set down his glass. Leaned forward. "My family has been in business for a long time. Generations. We do things a certain way. We take care of our own. We have rules." "What kind of business?" "Different things. Waste management, yes. But other things too. We help people. We provide services." "What kind of services?" He hesitated. "Financial, protection, problem solving." "David." I looked him in the eyes. "Are you in the mafia?" The word hung in the air between us. He didn't answer right away. Just looked at me with those dark eyes I'd fallen in love with 16 years ago. "We don't use that word," he said quietly. My whole body went cold. "Oh my God, Cat. Oh my God, you're actually, listen to me." He moved closer. "I'm not a criminal. I don't hurt people. I run legitimate businesses. But yes, my family is connected. Yes, there are things we do that aren't exactly legal. But it's not what you think." "What do I think?" "Guns, violence, murder." "That's not me. That's not what I do." "Then what do you do?" "I manage accounts. I collect debts. I help people when they need money. I make sure business runs smoothly." "You're a loan shark." "I provide capital to people who can't get traditional loans." "At what interest rate?" He didn't answer. "David, what interest rate?" "It varies." "How much?" "Cat, it doesn't matter." "How much?" 3 points a week. Sometimes more. I did the math in my head. That's over 150% a year. It's a high-risk business. It's predatory. It's voluntary. Nobody makes them take the money. And if they don't pay? Silence. "David, if they don't pay, what happens?" "We work with them. Payment plans. Extensions. And if that doesn't work?" His jaw tightened. "Then we send someone to remind them of their obligations." "Remind them how?" "Cat, don't." "How do you remind them?" "I don't do that part. Other guys handle that. But you know about it." "Yes, and you're okay with it." "It's business." I stood up. "It's not business. It's extortion. It's illegal. So is speeding. So is smoking weed. Illegal doesn't mean wrong. People get hurt, David." "Don't they?" He stood too. "Sometimes. Yes, but I don't hurt them. I never have. That's not who I am." "But you're okay with other people doing it." "It's not that simple." "It is that simple. You're either okay with violence or you're not." "I protect my family," he said. His voice rising. "That's what I do. That's what my father did. That's what his father did. This is who we are. This isn't who I am. You married me, Cat. You married into this. I didn't know. Maybe you didn't want to know. But the signs were there. You chose not to see them. That hit me, because he was right. I had chosen comfort, chosen security, chosen not to ask too many questions. I can't do this, I whispered. Yes you can, you have been doing it. For 14 years. That was before I knew. Knowing doesn't change anything. I'm the same person I was yesterday. No, I said, you're not. Yesterday I thought you were honest. Yesterday I thought we had a normal life. We do have a normal life. The girls go to school. We go to church. We have family dinners. This doesn't change that. It changes everything. He grabbed my shoulders, not hard, but firm. Kat, listen to me. I need you to listen. You cannot tell anyone about this. Not your mother, not your friends, nobody. Why not? Because it's not safe. For you, for the girls, for me. Are you threatening me? No. God, no. I'm trying to protect you. If people know you know, that makes you a target. A target for who? For anyone who wants leverage over me. For the FBI. For rival families. You don't understand how this works. Then explain it to me. He let go of me. Paced the room. There are rules. In my family, in this life, there are rules. You don't talk to outsiders. You don't cooperate with the police. You don't betray your family. If you break these rules, there are consequences. What kind of consequences? He looked at me. Bad ones. Have you ever? I couldn't say it. Have I ever what? Have you ever killed anyone? No. I swear to you, I have never killed anyone. I've never even hurt anyone. But you know people who have. He didn't answer. He didn't have to. I sat back down. My legs felt weak. I don't know what to do. He knelt in front of me. Took my hands. You do what you've been doing. You take care of our daughters. You run our home. You live your life. Nothing has to change. How can you say that? Everything has changed. Only if you let it. I pulled my hands away. I need time. I need to think. Okay, take time. But Kat, promise me you won't do anything stupid. Like what? Like go to the police. Like talk to anyone about this. I'm not going to the police. Promise me. I promise. But even as I said it, I didn't know if I meant it. The next few weeks were surreal. I went through the motions of normal life. I made breakfast for the girls. I drove them to school. I did laundry. I smiled and waved at neighbors. But inside, I was screaming. At night, David tried to talk to me. Tried to explain, but I couldn't listen. Every time he opened his mouth, all I could think about was the money in the freezer. The gun, the ledgers with their careful notes about who owed what and who was late paying. I started watching him differently. The way he talked on the phone. The way he tensed when certain names came up. The way he'd leave in the middle of dinner sometimes, come back 2 hours later, never explaining where he'd been. One night, I heard him in his office. I stood outside the door, listening. I don't care if he can't pay, David said. He knew the terms. He agreed to them. No, I'm not giving him an extension. Because if I give him one, everyone else will want one. Then handle it. I don't care how. Just handle it. He hung up. I walked away before he could see me. 2 days later, I saw a news report. A man beaten outside a bar in Newark. Hospitalized. The victim refused to cooperate with police. I wondered if David's phone call had anything to do with it. I didn't ask. Around this time, something else started happening. I noticed cars on our street that didn't belong there. Same car, different days, always parked a few houses down. Dark sedan, tinted windows. I mentioned it to David. His face went tight. Don't worry about it. Should I be worried? No, I'm handling it. Handling what? Kat, please, trust me. But I didn't trust him. Not anymore. Then came the day that changed everything. I was at the grocery store, loading bags into my car. A man approached me, middle-aged, suit, no tie. He smiled. Mrs. Rossi? He said. I froze. Yes? He pulled out a badge. Special Agent Marcus, FBI. Can we talk? My heart stopped. I don't. Just a few minutes. I promise. I looked around. The parking lot was busy. People everywhere. I don't have anything to say. I think you do. I think you know more than you're saying. I don't know what you're talking about. It's about your husband, David. We've been investigating him. For what? Racketeering, extortion, Loan sharking, money laundering. He paused. I think you know about all of this. My hands were shaking. I want a lawyer. You're not under arrest, Mrs. Rossi. I'm just talking to you. As a concerned citizen, as a mother, don't bring my children into this. Your children are already in this. Do you know what happens to families like yours? When the father goes to prison, when assets get seized, when the life you've built disappears. I couldn't breathe. We can help you, he said. We can protect you, but you have to help us. I don't know anything. You live in that house. You see things. You hear things. Phone calls, visitors, money, the freezer. Did they know about the freezer? I can't help you, I said. Can't or won't? Both. He handed me a card. When you're ready to talk, call this number. Anytime, day or night. I won't call. You will. They always do. He walked away. I sat in my car, shaking. The card felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. That night, I told David. He went pale. What did you say to him? Nothing. I said I didn't know anything. Good. That's good. David, the FBI is investigating you. I know. You know? They've been watching us for months. That car you saw? That's them. Oh God. It's okay. They don't have anything. As long as nobody talks, they don't have anything. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. This has happened before. They watch, they wait, they get bored, they go away. But he didn't look sure. He looked scared. What if they don't go away? I asked. They will. But what if they don't? He pulled me close. Then we deal with it. Together. But we weren't together. Not really. I was alone in this, trying to figure out what the hell I was supposed to do. The next few weeks, I was a wreck. Every car that drove by our house, I thought it was the FBI. Every time the phone rang, I jumped. I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat. The girls noticed. Mom, are you okay? My oldest asked one day. I'm fine, honey. You don't seem fine, just tired. She looked at me with those big brown eyes, so much like her father's. Is Dad okay? Of course. Why? He seems worried. And you guys aren't talking as much. Smart kid, too smart. Everything's fine, I lied. We're just busy. But everything wasn't fine, and it was about to get worse. One night, David came home late. Very late. It was past midnight. I was still awake, sitting in the dark living room. He walked in, and I knew immediately something was wrong. His shirt was torn. There was blood on his collar. David, I stood up. What happened? Nothing. I'm fine. That's blood. It's not mine. Somehow, that was worse. Whose is it? Cat, don't. Whose blood is on your shirt? He looked at me, and in that moment, I saw it. The truth. The thing I'd been avoiding all these weeks. My husband wasn't just connected to the mob. He was the mob. He did the things I'd been pretending he didn't do. Get out, I said. What? Get out of this house. Right now. Cat, please. No. I don't want you here. I don't want you near me or the girls. You're being hysterical. I'm being sane for the first time in months. Get out. This is my house. It's our house. And I want you gone. He stepped toward me. I'm not leaving. Then I am. I headed for the stairs. He grabbed my arm. Not gently this time. Hard. Let go of me. Listen to me. You're not thinking clearly. Let go. If you leave, if you take the girls, there will be problems. Are you threatening me? I'm telling you how things work. You're my wife. Those are my children. You don't just get to leave. I yanked my arm free. Watch me. I went upstairs. Started packing a bag. David followed. Cat, stop. Think about this. I have thought about it. I can't do this anymore. I can't pretend this is normal. Where will you go? My mother's. For how long? I don't know. Until I figure things out. The girls are asleep. You're going to wake them up in the middle of the night? He was right. Damn it. He was right. Fine. I'll leave in the morning. And tell them what? That we need some space. They'll ask why. I'll figure it out. He sat on the bed. Put his head in his hands. I never wanted you to be part of this. But I am. Because you made me part of it the second you married me without telling me the truth. I loved you. I love you. Love isn't supposed to feel like this. Like I'm drowning. He looked up. What do you want from me? I want you to stop. I want you to get out of this life. I want us to be normal. I can't. Why not? Because you don't just leave. You know that. You can't walk away from this. People do it. Witness protection. New identities. You want me to be a rat? You want me to testify against my own family? I want you to choose us over them. I can't. And there it was. The truth. He couldn't choose. Or he wouldn't. Either way, the result was the same. I slept in the guest room again. In the morning, I woke the girls. Told them we were going to Grandma's for a few days. They were confused but excited. They loved my mother's house. David was in the kitchen when we came downstairs. He'd made pancakes. The girls' favorite. Daddy's pancakes. My youngest squealed. He smiled, but his eyes were on me. Thought we could have breakfast together before you go. We sat around the table. The girls chattered about school, about their friends. David listened, laughed, acted like everything was fine. I couldn't eat. I just watched him. This man who'd lied to me. Who'd put us all in danger. Who loved his family but wouldn't leave them. His blood family. The family that mattered more than me and the girls. After breakfast, we loaded into my car. David kissed the girls goodbye. Told them to be good for Grandma. Then he turned to me. Call me when you get there. Let me know you're safe. Okay. I love you, Kat. I'm sorry. I didn't say it back. I just got in the car and drove away. At my mother's house, I told her David and I were having problems. She didn't pry, just hugged me and told me the girls could stay as long as I needed. That night, after the girls were asleep, I sat in my old childhood bedroom and looked at the FBI agent's card. I'd been carrying it in my wallet since the day he gave it to me. I thought about calling. I thought about telling them everything. The money, the ledgers, the phone calls, all of it, but I couldn't, because David was right about one thing. There would be consequences. For him, for me, for the girls. If David went to prison, what would happen to us? We'd lose the house. The girls would have to change schools. Everyone would know. Everyone would whisper. And what if the family came after me? What if they thought I'd betrayed them? I put the card back in my wallet. I stayed at my mother's for a week. David called every day. I didn't answer most of the time. When I did, the conversations were short, awkward. How are the girls? Fine. How are you? I don't know. When are you coming home? I don't know that either. Kat, we need to talk. Really talk. I can't do this over the phone. Then come home. But I couldn't. Not yet. Then one night, my mother got a visitor. A man in his 60s, well-dressed, polite. He asked to speak to me. My mother looked nervous. Who is he? She whispered. I don't know. I lied. But I did know. I knew the second I saw him. One of David's uncles. I'd met him a few times at family gatherings. He sat in my mother's living room, hands folded, smiling gently. Catherine, he said, it's good to see you. What do you want? David's worried about you. We all are. I'm fine. Are you? You look tired. I haven't been sleeping well. These things are hard. Marriage is hard. But running away doesn't solve anything. I'm not running away. I'm taking space. Space from what? I didn't answer. David is a good man, the uncle said. He provides for his family. He protects them. He loves you. I know. Then why are you here instead of at home? Because I needed to think. About what? About whether I can live with the choices he's made. The uncle's smile faded a little. We all make choices, Catherine. David's choices have given you a good life. A beautiful home. Security. Opportunities for your daughters. Is that so terrible? It is if it's built on lies. Every life is built on something. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's clean. Some people are cleaner than others. He leaned forward. Let me be clear. David needs you. And you need him. This family takes care of its own. But we can't protect you if you're not part of the family. My blood went cold. Is that a threat? It's a statement of fact. David's life is complicated. You're either with him or you're against him. There's no middle ground. I'm not against him. Then come home. It's not that simple. It is exactly that simple. He stood. Think about your daughters. Think about what's best for them. A stable home with their father. Or a broken family, struggling to survive. He left without saying goodbye. I didn't sleep that night. I sat up, thinking about what he'd said. What he'd really been saying. Come home or there will be consequences. The next morning, I called David. I want to come home, I said. I heard him exhale. Relief. Thank God. But things need to change. Okay, tell me what you need. I need you to be honest with me. Always. No more secrets. Okay, and I need you to keep the girls and me out of it. Completely. We don't know anything. We don't see anything. We're not involved. You're not involved. You never have been. I need you to promise me that if something happens, if you get arrested or worse, we'll be protected. You will be. I swear. How can I trust you? Because I've never broken a promise to you. Not once. And I won't start now. I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to believe him. Okay, I said. We'll come home. We moved back in the next day. The girls were thrilled. David was attentive, loving, trying so hard to make things normal. But things weren't normal. They couldn't be. I went through my days in a fog, smiling at other mothers at school pickup, making small talk with neighbors, pretending everything was fine. But at night, I'd lie awake, listening to David breathe beside me, wondering who he really was. Wondering who I really was for staying. 3 months later, everything fell apart. It was early morning. I was making coffee when I heard cars screeching outside. I looked out the window. Black SUVs, men in windbreakers with FBI across the back. David, I screamed. He came running down the stairs. Saw the cars. His face went white. Get the girls, he said. Keep them upstairs. Don't let them see. I ran upstairs. Woke the girls. Told them to stay in their room, no matter what they heard. Downstairs, I heard the door being pounded. FBI, open up. David opened the door. They flooded in. 12 agents, maybe more. Guns drawn. David Rossi, you're under arrest for racketeering, extortion, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. They put him in handcuffs. He looked at me. Call my lawyer. Numbers in my phone. Don't say anything to anyone. David, I love you, Kat. Remember that. They took him away. The agents stayed. They searched everything. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely hold my phone to call David's lawyer. The lawyer told me to stay calm. Don't answer any questions. He'd be there as soon as possible. One of the agents approached me. Mrs. Rossi, I'm Special Agent Marcus. We've met before. The parking lot. The business card. I remember. This is going to be hard. But you can make it easier. For yourself. For your daughters. I want to speak to my lawyer. You're not under arrest. We just want to talk. I have nothing to say. You have plenty to say. You know how your husband makes his money. You know what he does. I don't know anything. The money in your freezer says otherwise. My stomach dropped. They'd found it. Talk to us, Mrs. Rossi. Help us. We can protect you. From what? From the people who are going to blame you when your husband goes away. From the fallout when all this comes out. From losing everything. I already lost everything, I whispered. Then you have nothing left to protect. Except your daughters. He handed me another card. Call me, before it's too late. They left hours later. The house was destroyed. Every drawer pulled out. Every closet emptied. They took boxes of documents. David's computers, even the freezer. The girls came downstairs. They'd heard everything. Where's Daddy? My youngest asked. He had to go somewhere for work. The police took him. It's complicated, honey. Is Daddy in trouble? I didn't know how to answer that. So I just held her. David's lawyer came. Explained the charges. Said David would be arraigned tomorrow, hopefully released on bail. How much bail? I asked. Probably a few million. We don't have that. The family will help. The family, of course. David came home 3 days later. Ankle monitor. Bail set at $5 million. The family had put up property to cover it. The conditions were strict. No contact with known associates. No leaving the state. Weekly check-ins with his probation officer. And that's when our life really became a nightmare. News trucks camped outside our house. Reporters shouting questions every time we left. The girls' school was a circus. Other parents stared, whispered, pulled their kids away. My phone rang constantly. David's family calling. asking what he'd told the FBI. Friends I hadn't heard from in years, suddenly curious about our lives. And then there were the other calls. The ones that came late at night. Heavy breathing, no voice, just silence. Then a click. David got more calls too. From numbers he wouldn't answer. When I'd ask who it was, he'd just say, "Nobody important." But his face would go pale every time. One day, his lawyer called an emergency meeting. The prosecutor wants David to cooperate. He said, they're offering a deal, 5 years if he testifies against his associates. Absolutely not, David said immediately. David, listen, no, I'm not a rat. You could get 20 years without a deal. Maybe more. Then I get 20 years. I looked at him. Are you serious? Kat, you know I can't do that. You have daughters. You have a wife. You're choosing strangers over us. They're not strangers. They're family. We're your family. It's not the same. I stood up, walked out, couldn't listen anymore. That night, I got in my car and drove. I didn't know where I was going. I just drove. I ended up at a church. Not our church. A random church I'd never been to before. I sat in the back pew and cried. A priest came over, asked if I was okay. I told him everything. Every word spilled out. The lies, the money, the FBI, the impossible choice. He listened, didn't judge, just listened. When I finished, he said, "What does your conscience tell you?" That I should tell the truth. Then tell it, but the consequences are not yours to control. Only your actions are. I drove home, sat in my car in the driveway for an hour. Then I took out my phone, found Agent Marcus's card, stared at the number. I thought about David, about our wedding day, about the first time he held our daughter, about all the good times, the laughter, the love. But I also thought about the ledgers, the beatings, the fear in people's eyes when they couldn't pay. I thought about what kind of example I was setting for my daughters. What I was teaching them about right and wrong. I dialed the number. Special Agent Marcus. It's Catherine Rossi, I said. I want to talk. The next morning, I met with the FBI. I told them everything I knew. About the money, the ledgers, the phone calls, the visitors, all of it. They recorded it, took notes, asked me to testify. I said yes. When I got home, David knew. I could see it in his face. You talked to them? Yes. He nodded slowly. They get to you? No. I got to me. What did you tell them? Everything. He closed his eyes. Kat, what did you do? What I had to do. Do you have any idea what this means? Yes. It means you might go to prison. It means your family will hate me. It means our life as we know it is over. It means more than that. It means you put a target on your back. On the girls' backs. The FBI will protect us. The FBI can't protect you from everything. Neither could you. That hurt him. I could see it. I tried, he said quietly. I tried to keep you out of it. You couldn't, because I was always in it. From the moment I married you. He sat down, put his head in his hands. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Me too. That night, I packed bags for me and the girls. The FBI had arranged a safe house. Temporary, until the trial. David watched me pack, didn't try to stop me. Can I say goodbye to them? He asked. Yes. He went to their rooms. I heard him talking softly. Heard my youngest crying. Heard him telling them he loved them. That everything would be okay. Lies. More lies. When he came back downstairs, his eyes were red. Take care of them, he said. I always have. I know. You're a good mother. Better than I deserved. David, I love you. Kat, I need you to know that. I love you. I always have. I know. But you don't love me anymore. I don't know what I feel. He nodded. Fair enough. I loaded the girls into the car. They were crying, asking where we were going, why we couldn't stay home. I told them it was an adventure. A little trip. More lies. As I pulled out of the driveway, I looked back. David was standing in the doorway, watching us leave. I wondered if I'd ever see him again. The safe house was a small apartment in a different state. The girls hated it. They cried for their father, their home, their friends. I tried to make it normal. Tried to keep up with schoolwork, with routines. But everything felt broken. David's trial started 6 months later. I testified, told the jury everything I knew. David sat there, watching me, his face expressionless. His family was in the courtroom, glaring at me, whispering. I didn't look at them. The trial lasted 3 weeks. The verdict came quickly, guilty on all counts. Sentencing was a month later. 15 years. I didn't go, couldn't bring myself to watch. But I thought about him. Thought about the man I'd married. The man I'd thought he was. Wondered if that man had ever existed at all. A year later, we're still in witness protection. Different names, different city, different lives. The girls are adjusting, slowly. They talk to David on the phone sometimes. I don't. I got a job. First time I've worked since before the girls were born. It's strange, but good. I like having something that's mine. I don't sleep well. I have nightmares. Men breaking into the apartment. Car bombs. Bullets through windows. The FBI says we're safe. But I never feel safe. Sometimes I wonder if I did the right thing. If I should have kept quiet. Stayed loyal. But then I remember the ledger. The names. The amounts. The notes about people who couldn't pay. I remember David saying, then we send someone to remind them of their obligations. And I know I did the right thing. Even if it cost me everything. 2 weeks ago, I got a letter. No return address. Postmarked from New Jersey. Inside was a single sentence. He was never who you thought he was. No signature. I turned the envelope over. On the back, in different handwriting, a name. Giovanni Rossi, David's grandfather, the man in the old photograph. I went online, started researching, found newspaper articles from the 1950s and 60s. Giovanni Rossi, suspected organized crime figure, involved in labor racketeering, illegal gambling, and suspected in multiple murders. Never convicted. One article mentioned his family, his wife, his 3 sons. One of those sons was David's father. I kept reading, found more articles, more names, more crimes. The Rossi family, 3 generations, all connected, all part of the same world. And then I found something that made my blood run cold. An article from 1962. A woman testified against Giovanni Rossi in a labor racketeering case. 2 months later, she disappeared. Never found. The article mentioned her name. Anna, my middle name, the name David insisted we give to our youngest daughter. I sat there, staring at the screen. He knew, he always knew, what he was, what his family was, what it meant to cross them. And he married me anyway. Had children with me anyway. Knowing that one day, I might have to make the choice that Anna made. Knowing what happened to Anna, I picked up the phone. Called Agent Marcus. I need to know something, I said. Anna, the woman who testified against Giovanni Rossi. What happened to her? Silence on the other end. Agent Marcus? How do you know about that? Just tell me, what happened? He sighed. She disappeared. We assumed she was killed. But we never found a body. The case went cold. Did anyone look for her? For a while. Then the trail went dead. Where was the last place she was seen? A safe house. In Pennsylvania. She left one night. Just walked out. Never came back. She left? On her own? That's what it looked like. Her things were still there. Her daughter was sleeping. She just walked out and never came back. She had a daughter? Yes. 7 years old at the time. My head was spinning. What happened to the daughter? Raised by a relative, I think. We lost track of her after that. I hung up, sat there, trying to make sense of it. Anna testified. Anna disappeared. Anna's daughter was raised by someone else. I thought about David's mother. The way she'd looked at me when I saw Giovanni's photograph. The way she'd crossed herself and walked away. I thought about the letter. He was never who you thought he was. I thought about my daughter, little Anna, named after a woman who'd disappeared for telling the truth. Was it a warning? A threat? A promise? Or something else entirely? I don't know. I may never know. But I do know this. I'm not Anna. I didn't disappear. I'm still here. Still fighting. Still protecting my daughters. And if they come for me, I'll be ready. Because I'm not afraid anymore. I'm angry. And angry is so much more powerful than afraid.